and all your wildest dreams. You are welcome, holy welcome, holy welcome. You are welcome here, just the way you are. No more hiding tears, no more covering scars. You are welcome, holy welcome. You are welcome here, just the way you want to be. Bring your deepest hopes and all your wildest dreams. You are welcome, holy welcome, holy welcome. There's something in the air, the dream of life in love, with minds that rest in prayer, sparking joy we're in awe. No matter where your path has been or time will somehow flies, like souls will come home again, true friendship ever thrives. Is this where the magic happens? Can you feel the hearts revealed right now in you and me? The secret is wherever we are. There's something in a smile that can turn a day around. Moments so worthwhile when we find common ground. No matter what the day might bring, right here we can align, knowing that we will be seen as perfect, whole, divine. 'Cause this is where the magic happens. Let's feel all the hearts, close to me and me to you. The secret is wherever we are. So meet me where the magic happens, feeling all the hearts ignited now in you and me. The secret is wherever, the secret is whenever, the secret is together we are.
Good morning, friends. How are ya? Happy Sunday, and thank you for joining us here at Center for Spiritual Living St. George Online. We welcome you, and we know that even if you're a stranger, you're just a friend we haven't met yet. So we're glad you're here. We have a lot of fun stuff for you today, I think. Our practice is to arise, awareness, radical responsibility, inside out living. Spirit is all there is, and everyone is doing the best they can with what they have and where they are. And so am I. So we hope that resonates with you. So our vision here at Center for Spiritual Living St. George is to be a community-focused center, actively living, sharing, and nurturing its members and friends so that all may live their best lives. And our mission is to be an open, inclusive, and evolving spiritual community that supports its purpose and vision through sacred can you make that just a little bit bigger? Sacred wisdom celebrations, empowering transformative education, youth and young adult programs, dynamic music ministry, community inreach and outreach. My glasses weren't quite strong enough for that smaller print. All right, so we have a lot going on here. Some of it has already manifested, and some of it is still on its way. So our team today is Bill Smith, who's one of our practitioners. He's on tech, running the board there. I'm Marina Anderson, and I'm your host, and I'm sharing a reading today. Our music is by our friend Alan Stanley. Invocation today by Reverend Rachel, and the talk is by Reverend Joe. It's going to be a good morning. We're glad you're here. All right, so I think now is the point that I introduce Alan Stanley. Come on in, Alan.
Hi.
There we are.
I knew if I just had to figure out which door to go through. There's so many to choose from. Right?
Door number 1.
Yeah, well, that worked out. Thank you, Marie.
All right.
Thank you.
You bet.
So sometime back, I was involved in a book study for credit, and the name of the book was "Discover the Power Within You" by Eric Butterworth. And this has been quite a while back, and I've done more with that book since. But it really woke me up what the message in that book was, because I had been spending so long looking out here and over there and up there, for what I was sensing. I was sensing it, but I just couldn't find it. And this book kind of woke me up, and the subject was Christ. And I'd been looking around for Christ, and this helped me realize that all the time Christ was here, and I'm in it, and it's in me. So that inspired this song, Truth in Christ, when I realized that I didn't need to be running around looking everywhere. Like me, like you, people spend their whole lives through seeking what's true in life. In me, in you, and in everybody else too, is truth, is peace, is Christ. Up close, inside, like a star that lights the night, is a gift from God to you. waiting, patient, till the time is right, and we will know that our truth, our peace is Christ. That way, bring Reverend Rachel come in and offer our invocation for us.
Morning. So let's take a deep breath together. Breathing in and breathing out. One more time, in and out. Feeling the groundedness. Knowing that God is all there is. Knowing the source, that spirit, that the universal energy that flows in and of and through us all, that is what we call God, what I call God. And in this knowingness that God is all there is, all knowing, all powerful, all present, knowing that God is the child's laughter, the green grass, the stars in the cosmos. This is that universal energy that I call God. Love, life, light. I know that I am of and from and in and as this universal energy, as is everyone who can hear my voice, everything in the presence of those individuals, that it is all God. I am from that, in that. And so knowing that is the truth, knowing that it is all that universal energy flowing, creating, discovering, I know right here and right now that I am blessed, that as a co-creator of this moment, that we all come into this space, in a space of love, of life, of light, that we are here to feel, to grow, to discover, to connect, knowing that the words that Reverend Joe says are those for me, for my discovery, knowing that the reading that Marina does inspires and discovers more about who I am. And for this, I am grateful. As we move through the music that Alan sings, that I feel it in my heart, in my soul, and it assists me in the discovery of more of who and what I am. So in this possibility, I am grateful, so very grateful. I am thankful and appreciative, and I ask, and I know, and I release my word into the law, knowing it is done, done, done. And together we affirm by saying, and so it is, and so it is, and so it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Rachel. So it is.
So it is.
Hear me, hear you. As we pray, we ask for truth till we find it's inside. See me, see you. Dance for joy and all will too, as we find truth in Christ. Up close, inside, like a star that lights the night, is a gift from God to you. Waiting, patient, till the time is right, and we will know that our love, our truth is Christ. Our truth, our peace is quiet. Now, Marina's going to come read for us.
Very nice, Alan. That's one of your grandest songs, I think.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Well, good morning again. I have volunteered to do the reading today, and I have taken it from John O'Donoghue's book, Anam Cara, which means soul friend. I thank our friends, Cherry and Rick, for introducing me to him a few years ago, and I just love him. It's a book of Celtic wisdom. Some of you may have heard me say before that Carissa Pinkola Estes taught me years ago that my body is my greatest partner, my soul's partner in this life. It's our bodies, how we connect with our own soul and connect with others and connect with the world. And I'm greatly appreciative of the wisdom in that thought. So John O'Donoghue has a section in his book that talks about the senses of the body as thresholds to the soul. So I have a few little clips that I would like to read to you this morning. For too long, we have believed that the divine is outside us. This belief has strained our longing disastrously. This makes us lonely, since it is human longing that makes us holy. The most beautiful thing about us is our longing. This longing is spiritual and has great depth and wisdom. If you focus your longing on a faraway divinity, you put an unfair strain on it. Thus, it often happens that the longing reaches out toward the distant divine, but because it overstrains itself, it bends back to become cynicism, emptiness, or negativity. This can destroy your sensibility. Yet we do not need to put any strain whatever on our longing. If we believe that the body is in the divine ground, then the presence of the divine is completely here, close with us. Then we are no longer in exile from the wonderful harvest of divinity that is always secretly gathering with us. He goes on to talk about the eye. In a wonderful way, the eye is mother of distance, makes us wonder at the mystery and otherness of everything outside us. In this sense, the eye is also the mother of intimacy, bringing everything close. When we really gaze at something, you bring it inside you. One could write a beautiful spirituality on the holiness of the gaze. Taste and speech. The sense of taste is subtle and complex. The tongue is the organ of taste and also the organ of speech. Taste is one of the casualties in our modern world. Since we are under such pressure and stress, we have so little time to taste the food we eat. An old friend of mine often says that food is love. At a meal in her house, one has to take one's time and bring patience and mindfulness to the meal. Fragrance and breath. Experts tell us that smell is the most faithful of all the terms of memory. The smells of one's childhood still remain within. It is incredible how a simple scent on a street or in a room can bring you back years to an experience you had long forgotten. Our greatest thoughts come to us from the generosity of air. It is here that the idea of inspiration is rooted. You inspire the thoughts concealed in the air element. Inspiration can never be programmed. You can prepare, making yourself ready to be inspired, yet it is spontaneous and unpredictable. It breaks the patterns of repetition and expectation. Inspiration is always a surprising visitor. Is worship. With the sense of hearing, we listen to creation. One of the great thresholds in reality is the threshold between sound and silence. All good sounds have silence near, behind, within them. The first sound that every human hears is the sound of the mother's heartbeat in the dark lake water of the womb. This is the reason for our ancient resonance with the drum as a musical instrument. The sound of the drum brings us consolation because it brings us back to that time where we were at one with the mother's heartbeat. That was a time of complete belonging. No separation had yet opened. We were completely in unity with another person. Touch. Touch is one of the most immediate and direct of the senses. The language of touch is a language in itself. Touch is also subtle and distinctive and holds within itself great refinement of memory. May we know that our awareness expands through the gifts of our senses of our body. May we see more. May we talk less and listen more. May we take the time to smell, to taste, and to touch life. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you, Marina. That's great. Thank you. So we're going to do a Daniel Namod song, and I'll just ask Bill if he would just make the lyrics a little larger, because there's a lot of words in here. Just a little bit larger. Oh, I can see that. Sing along, please. One power, one power, one power. There's one power invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. One power indescribable, and you speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth. As simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angels' wings or heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of the love in you and me. One power, one power, one power. We speak so many languages, have different clothing, different colors, different names. But difference only dangerous when we forget that in the heart we're all the same. Well, remember once you close our eyes to see that such distances were never meant to be. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, Hashem, or heaven's door. It's Muhammad, it's your mind, it's your soul, it's your sign, it's the universe, it's music, Mother Earth, and Father Time. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? Whatever name you give it, it's the very air we breathe. It's the power of the love in you and me. One power, one power, one power. It's the moment of creation and everlasting peace. It's the freedom of forgiveness. It's the sweetness of release. It's the joy of inspiration. It's the same left your face. It's the birthright of all nations. It's the boundlessness of space. It's the beauty of a baby, the serenity of sleep. It's the anger we abandon, for it's love that's most deep. It's one power, one power, one power, one power. It's the power of the love that lives in you and me. It's the power of the love in you and me. One power, one power, one power.
One power indeed. Thank you, Ellen.
Thank you. Thank you.
So now it is time to bring up our Reverend Joe as he gives us our inspirational talk for today. Come on in, Joe.
Ooh, I'm small.
Yeah.
There we go.
You're larger than life.
One power, yeah. One love, one life.
That's right.
That's the message. Thank you for your reading.
You're welcome.
And thanks to Alan for that beautiful song. Daniel Neymady's a staple. So good morning, my beloved community. How are you? Already the third week of September. Time just keeps moving on. And so I hope right where you are that you're experiencing life to your fullest and that you are truly living a life that you love. And if not, then I ask you why. Think about that. What are you focusing on? What are you aware of? Because that's the topic for today. Elevation of awareness. Why is that so important? Because first, we're going to recognize that everything that we seek is already available to us. We must allow that in through our lives. And awareness is the key that unlocks every single door, everything that we're looking for. And when we elevate our awareness, we're moving from surviving to thriving, from default thinking, right, to pure creativity, from limitation to what? My favorite word, freedom, right? And so that's why awareness is so important. Let me ask you a question. Can you change something you're not aware of? Not on purpose anyway, right? I guess accidentally you could do it, but awareness is a key spiritual principle in our teaching. And to remind us why, Ernest Holmes says, life is a mirror and will reflect back to the thinker what they think into it. So if we're not aware of what we're thinking in the first place, which goes back to the perfect song by Daniel Neymad, thank you, Alan, one power, and we are using that through every thought we speak, every action aligns us with the next. Right? It's energy. And so if I'm focusing on, I want health, but all I talk about and all I feel about is my lack of health, then that's what my mind is most aware of. And that's what must, by natural law, show up in people's places, events, and my circumstances. So we're going to dig into this idea of elevation of awareness a little deeper, and I created 3 talking points today for this topic. The first one has to do with something called removing blinders. The second one is called sprouting or budding, and the third one is liftoff. So let's jump right in. Removing blinders. What does that mean? Well, the way I look at it, when we're unaware, it's kind of like being a horse in a race, and you got blinders on, and you're just seeing a narrow strip of life, a narrow strip of possibility. And we recognize in science of mind that life is infinite possibility. And so our awareness, when we're locked into this channel, this is what we experience. If this channel is not something that we want to experience, okay, we must make some changes. The problem is most of us don't recognize this truth of how powerful our awareness is and how our awareness aligns with our choices and therefore what we experience. We tend to just simply accept the limits that we've been taught. Now, this is not it is out of ignorance, but it's not like we want to do this. It's simply that we're unaware that we're doing this, right? And so from the very beginning of life, most of us are taught beliefs that are based in fear, that are based in lack, that are based in separation, that you do not have the power of the divine to co-create the reality that you want. How foolish are you? Just shut up, go get a job and do the right thing. Pay your taxes, do your 9-to-5 thing, on and on and on. And we live in this narrow-minded space. Now, that's great if that's the life you want to live. Perfect. Okay? But I'll guarantee you there's another avenue of your life where you do have blinders on. And what happens is we simply stay comfortable because we're not aware of the other possibilities. Going back to our founder, Ernest Holmes, he says, man is born to be rich or inevitably to grow rich through the use of his faculties. Let's change it to person, who is born into the world has the natural right to supply all their needs and to become all that they are capable of being. Being, not doing, because doing comes from being. All right. So what is this message here? That we are literally the power of the divine flowing into our life. We're expressing that power as we are aware of it. And we can only express it to the level of our acceptance and understanding of it. Makes sense, right? I can only do a math problem or math up until the level I understand it. I can't do trig if I haven't learned algebra yet. Right? So again, we have this horse with blinders on it. It can only see straight ahead. And life puts blinders on us sometimes and we're not even aware of it. Again, so we hold these limiting beliefs that limit our actions, that limit our results. Well, I'm really ready for a career change, but I'm so old already, or, school's going to be hard, and how would I pay for that anyway? But yet there's this desire that just burns. It wants to express through that, but we limit it, right? Or you have a hard breakup. Right? Maybe it's a significant other, a boyfriend, a girlfriend. Maybe it's a long marriage or not. It just didn't turn out the way you wanted it to, right? And so we just say, it wasn't in the cards for me. And that's it. One and done, which is a choice, but it's a limiting choice because we don't believe in the infinite possibilities. Or one that I've used many times is, money is just a struggle. It doesn't grow on trees. There's only one way to get it. So get up and get a job and do that, even though I really don't want to, at least do what I'm doing. And my money, my prosperity is limited by my job, which is obviously not true. So I guess I'm just not meant to live in abundance. Now, these are all one way, one track, blinders on to the infinite possibilities that prosperity is here now. And what is prosperity? It's just another word for spirit or God or the universe expressing itself in our lives. And that is never limited. It's only limited to the level of our understanding. And sometimes even the things that we feel are best in our lives, like a newest life hack, which makes it easier, is good for a little while, but life continues to change. And so if we try to get stuck in this way, what worked for us at one point may no longer work for us. And if we're not aware, right, if we continue to hold these beliefs, in place simply out of being comfortable, then we limit our life and we don't get to necessarily recognize the absolute blessings that are abundantly blooming in our lives all the time. And so to kind of share a personal story about this, there was a time, so I'm a school counselor and I was working in the big district here in Las Vegas. And it just came to a time where I was tired of being where I was. I had been at a certain school for 8 years. And at that point, 12, maybe 13 years, 14 years in already. And I had an opportunity, which sounded pretty neat, but it was scary. It was to open a brand new charter school, and charters were very new at that time. And I was hired as a counselor and a test coordinator for the school. Well, opening a brand new school, the principal and I were doing the best we could. And on day 3 of the first week of school, we had a student who choked out another student on the way to PE. And so all of a sudden we realized a number of things, that we not only didn't have forms, but we didn't have like any form, because in the big district, head office did all that. And when you're a charter school, you got to do all this on your own. So I was asked to step up and do that. I was also asked to step up and be the dean, because we didn't have a dean in place. So that was difficult, coming from a counseling place, now having to do behavior. And then by the end of the week, I was basically also the assistant principal. So I was the assistant principal, the counselor, the dean. I did all technology, ELLs, testing, and so on. And so now, because it was something new, it was wonderful. This is a positive use of blinders, and I'm going to get to where that limited me. But initially, I just, boom, went straight ahead. Everything in front of me, it was scary. I had no past experiences to really call upon, and the principal was also learning everything's new, so I couldn't really rely on them. And it wasn't that they weren't reliable, but they were doing other things. And so, there's definitely a certain level of faith, right, that I'm just on track. I'm trusting this is where I'm supposed to be. And in that moment, it was where I'm supposed to be. But, these blinders kept me focused. And in the moment, they were keeping me in the mode of simply trusting that what I needed would be there, infinite possibilities, and show up until it was time for something else. And my faith came in trusting on that higher power. It was scary. And yet there were things that I recognized that were outside my frame of view, a broader view that I, in my mind, was fearful about, because I thought I needed to know everything. Does that make sense? So I have to do all this and I don't know anything. And so I was in this place of fear. It was uncomfortable, yet challenging. And it was one experience. And it got to be more stressful and more stressful and more stressful. Now, we're going to pause that story. We're going to come back to it. So one of the things I want to finish with regards to the blinders is recognizing that the blinders will be removed in what we call divine timing, perfect timing, when it's right and we're ready for that more expansive vision of what is possible. Now, talking point 2 is sprouting or budding. So once the blinders come off, okay, we have a new purview and we can allow change to emerge. We sprout, we bud. New life begins to express through us. We basically are being aware of more, right? So this is when also the same time we're like stepping into something new, but this is also when we struggle, because we get uncomfortable, because all of a sudden we now have competing thoughts. Well, I want to do this new thing. I want to take care of myself. I want to be healthier. And these comfortable thoughts are now going to come and go, yeah, but that's a lot of work. Oh, it's going to take time. And are you ready? And all these negative beliefs want to pull us back into the comfort zone. We have to become aware of just what is happening in that moment in order to break free, in order to allow the new to be expressed in, as, and through us. And that is really, if you think about it, what we are doing on a constant level. We're going through these challenges. We recognize there's a greater view of something. We get this new desire to create. And then in the end, we're either going to bust through that and begin to bloom, right? Like sprouting, like breaking through the soil, okay? Or we're going to hide in our seed. Now, a key point that I love going and reminding myself about in our teaching from Ernest Holmes, he says, man, we are not bound by precedent. We can live above our old thoughts. We can be free here and now. And now another way we say this all the time is past is not bound by precedent. So what does that mean? What's precedent? That means our current situation is not bound because of what happened in the past. That was something that happened. It is now over. If we're going to move out of that line of thinking, then we can do that, but it's our choice. There's nothing truly holding us back except our willingness to change our thoughts and therefore then change our actions and change the results. So this idea of I can't because I never did before technically is an excuse. There's nothing that we cannot do. And so I want you to go back to this idea of thinking about the seed sitting in that soil, that desire that is inside of you burning, that, that seed has everything it needs, right? It doesn't see the sun yet. It's sitting in that space of kind of emerging, but it has faith. It trusts enough to do what the next step is. And it begins to go towards and push upwards until it sees the light. What is the light? The light is the new awareness, the new level of understanding, the new level of consciousness, right? So before that seed, before it can sprout, it's got to crack open. That's that get out of its comfort zone. It's got everything it needs. It's safe. It's comfortable. Why would I want to expand? Right? And from the outside looking in, right, it looks like it's destruction. It looks like, this is like literally like a bad thing to do. I'm not sure, but maybe it feels, looking at our analogy, it feels uncomfortable, maybe painful. Yet, technically, it's the beginning of new life within you and within the world, because everything we do is expressed in through the one. So pause for a moment and call to mind a time when you feel like you were that seed and it felt like you were cracking open. I'm not cracking up, going insane, but like there was something within you that was changing, right? Maybe it was a job loss. Maybe it was a breakup, maybe a scary diagnosis. And at first, it may be fearful. And again, because we do pull from the past, and that's okay. It's not wrong to do that. It's just that we don't want to be attached to doing that. So it feels like something's ending, right? It's the end of something. But often, if we recognize it, or not often, every time, what it really is spirit, our true self, cracking us open so that we can sprout into something new. No matter what it is. Well, I haven't done this in 40 years. Is that something that you really want to do? Yes, then just do it. Without worrying about what it looks like, what it feels like. Oh, well, when I did it back then, I was so good at it. So I used to play ice hockey and play a lot, and there's a desire in me to still play. And then in my mind goes you're 55 years old. Like, what are you thinking? And you need flexibility. You need this. And, people have retired for 20 years at this point, and you want to get back and play. And yet there's the desire within me. And so, I'm not saying I'm going to hop on the ice and expect myself to play like I did before. Okay. But I'm going to go out there and have fun. I'm going to go out there and do my best and follow that inner guidance, that nudge, right? Because if there's a desire, then there's a way to fulfill that desire. And now this whole cracking open thing, I want to go back to my time at that charter school. So there's a time when it came to an end. And it came to an end that I wasn't expecting, and in the moment was kind of shocked by. And so my blinders all of a sudden were off. I was home. I chose to quit from the situation. And so many thoughts were running through my head, and not a one of them. Well, I will say one was positive, which is this is something new, and everything happens for my best and highest good. But I was saying that from like I hope. Right? Now that time had went on, I recognized, who I became through that experience, that I was only meant to be there for a certain amount of time. And, that at some point, the stress that I was under, I didn't realize until I stepped outside of it. I mean, 24 hours a day. And I literally mean that, because as I was also on the security of the school, the alarm company had my phone number to call, and the alarms didn't work very well. So almost nightly, I was woken up by a call that I had to answer. I couldn't ignore. That was just one of many stresses. Now, I also began to use my new faith, which was CSL at the time. I had just become a practitioner and was using that to try to help me get through. I went from basically having this career job to being a beer vendor at T-Mobile Arena. And man, the first day on that job, and I can make some good money doing it, but my thoughts and my beliefs that just beat the poop out of me. Like, what are you doing here? You have a master's degree, you have a career, like, how did you get here? And it was every night I had a battle with that until I didn't. And that took some time. But through that process, then a new experience arose. And it was also recognizing, one of the crazy things was, obviously I was bringing in a lot less money, yet my wife and I, trusting in the process, we never, ever experienced any struggle with, living life with 2 young kids and everything. We still to this day, don't know how it worked out, because on paper, it shouldn't have, but it did. And then all that experience really in the end led me to help me understand what it was to be a leader. Because again, I signed up as a counselor. I didn't ask to be thrust into administration, which is leadership, because I was anti-administration leadership. I was like, oh, those fools, they're always making rules and regulations. And just that was my ignorant view of that. And if it wasn't for all that experience and helping me understand that I can create things with absolutely no prior information or experience, has literally allowed me to be where I am today. I did not expect it to. It was not in my thought to be a senior minister for a long time, until Spirit kind of really tapped into me. It's like, hey, this is what we've been doing the whole time. This has been building and budding. This was in you the whole time. And it was as I got out of my own small thinking way, everything took off. Everything lifted off, which is the next talking point, lift off. Once we release the blinders, they're gone. We're open to recognizing something new in our lives, and we allow that to bud within us. Then we get to that third stage, which is lifting off, where the awareness of our new awareness breaks through that gravity of the old conditions, of the old experiences, the patterns, the old beliefs, and allows us to rise. And this is the elevated awareness that we're able to get to attain from a deeper understanding and passion of truth, spiritual truth, which is God is all there is. Excuse me. God is unlimited, God is all-knowing, and God is everywhere present. So if it's the only thing that's happening, and I recognize God as limitless, and I am that, and that is flowing to and through my life, then let's go. Let's blast off. Share a reading, part of a reading that I read often because I love it. It centers me, and it's Ernest Holmes. And it starts with this. I please use this in your life. I am a center in the divine mind, a point of God-conscious life, truth, and action. My affairs are divinely guided and guarded into right action, into correct results. Everything I do, say, or think is stimulated by the truth. There is power in this word that I speak because it is of the truth, and it is the truth. And there's more to it. Science of Mind book. Powerful. So that helps me anchor in to, I'm not just this little Joe floating about in the universe with no help and powerless. No, I am a center in the divine mind, in the power of all that is. There's an analogy I want to share, which is like, think about like a hot air balloon, right? The hot air balloon has all the potential it needs to soar. Even when it's full of hot air, it's got everything there, but it will not lift off until it releases the weights, because it's being held down with ropes and weights. And it's a matter of us, if we want to lift off, to be aware of those individual ropes and weights, which are our old habits, right? Our old beliefs, our old judgments and resentments, our doubts, our limitations. These all hold us back, right? Once we begin to work on that and do our spiritual practices and work on forgiveness of the self and then others, we begin to just lift off naturally. And it's not even a shock when we do, because we've worked toward it. So it's a reminder, we will not get to this point of releasing, right, without being aware and doing that work, that inner work of just what do I need to work on releasing? And that is where a spiritual community comes in to help. The classes, the workshops, the conversations, the prayer, the meditation, right? Now, there are times, I will say, because I like looking at all sides, when our faith and desire is just so strong in thought and action, it kind of, to me, it's like it just cuts all the ropes, at least not, maybe not all of them, but enough of the necessary ones, that we begin to take a bigger step into that new becoming. And that can happen. But if we're doing it from a forceful place, like I'm just going to do this, wow, it's not going to be the same experience as and we would naturally. So what we're really talking about is practicing communing with the presence of spirit, right? What is, if you think about the balloon, then, you know, this presence is the sky that it's already within, right? And it's using all of its nature of the sky to lift itself off. So going back to my analogy, working at the charter school. So I was then doing beer vending for a little bit, which was actually quite fun. And then that led me to working at another charter school, which interestingly enough, the principal of that school was a teacher my first year under me as the assistant principal, while she was going for her admin degree. And so you never know who you're going to know and how that's going to help you. And through that, recognizing that all of a sudden I somehow again was hired as a counselor and tech coordinator, that I was kind of thrust into the admin role again. And I'm like, finally opened myself up to the idea that it was just my uncomfortability of having people come to me and not trusting with me, myself, in to lead them, to say the right thing and so on. I thought I had to know it all. And so as I worked on this, and as the Bible says, pray without ceasing, it was a constant prayer to get me through the experience, to learn what I had to learn. And I did. And that led me then to, through that process of being comfortable with being a leader. And that's when that new seed within me said, well, now that you love talking about faith and being a counselor and being a life coach and help people understand and how to live a life that's more fulfilling and more freeing, then why don't we try this in your minister role? And so working on releasing all those weights, right? And believing that my highest and best was always happening, I did rise to new heights. And that is why I'm here today, to be able to share this with you. It was not easy. It was at some point kind of a living hell. And yet I recognized the blessing in it when I opened to it. So it's not like I was escaping anything. It's living from a higher awareness, a higher plane of existence that is and always will be there waiting for us. Whew. All right. So my friends, we're on this awareness journey. And we're all month long, we've been talking about the transcendent purpose. What is that purpose? And awareness has to do. How are we going to find our purpose if we don't begin to recognize the power of awareness? So we want to work at identifying and removing the blinders that limit our blessing and allow in the new awarenesses. And then we're going to create a healthy spiritual environment to allow those to sprout and bud into new growth, into a new expression of us, and then lift off into the freedom of spirit, into living your highest and best life, truly being able to wake up and live a life that you love. And we do this by elevating our consciousness, We do this by rising and over our old limiting patterns of thought and belief, releasing resentment, offering forgiveness, staying, how would I say that? Being disciplined in our spiritual practices. Because again, it's so easy for the old, easy thoughts to come in and limit us. So, as we talk about transcendent purpose, purpose and vision go together. What I'm going to simply say is let's choose a vision of recognizing a divine, loving spirit that is expressing everywhere, right here and now, in this world, no matter what it looks like. We call for this divine love to be expressed, to show us, to bless us with the truth. And in that, as we just open to releasing any blinders that are limiting our awareness, and we open to, without judgment or attachment, the budding of our higher and best self. So as a spiritual practice, we have our affirmation, which is, I release all limitation. I trust the sprouting of new life within me. I rise in awareness and I soar in spirit. And so let's close in prayer. So I take a deep breath and I focus on my heart. That heart energy, that creative energy. And I am just grateful in this moment to be this leader, to step up and share my struggles, to share my challenges, knowing that everyone has a challenge of their own and that we do not have to feel as if we are unique in that, but we open ourselves to the blessing that is hiding within the experience of that challenge, no matter what it is. For I recognize the truth that all is expressed, that all is happening for my good, no matter what it looks like. And that as I choose to seek new awareness, seek to where I have blinders on, that I can choose to release and open myself to a brand new understanding that perfect health is mine, that abundance is the natural law of the universe, and I am in and of that. And I change my thoughts and behaviors to live within that abundant life, to live a perfect, healthy life, to live a perfect experience. That does not mean it goes without challenges. It means I recognize that I have everything I need in order to not just get through the challenge, as in get by it, but get through it. I'm going to walk through that challenge and come to a new understanding and bud something new, to express and flourish and flower in a higher way of expressing that I've never done before. And it feels freer. It feels more expansive. It feels like love expressing. And so it is.
And so it is. Beautiful. Thank you so much.
You are welcome.
I'm excited that we get to see you an extra time this month, because we'll see you Saturday at the Pride Festival, right?
Yes, and hopefully there's a slide to remind everybody too that we will have 3 in-person meetings next month in October because of the installation.
There is a slide for that. Yeah.
Excellent, because that's exciting too.
Yes, it is. It is. So we'll see you Saturday, and hope y'all will join us at the Pride Festival at JC Snow Park this next Saturday.
Yes, yes.
From
visit us at our tent.
Yes, our friend Tim McGeechee is organizing all that for us, and we're excited to be there again. So thank you, Reverend Joe.
My pleasure.
Okay, so we invite you to invest in our community and join in our abundant prosperity. There's several ways that you can contribute financially if you wish to do that, and they haven't changed. The information is here on your screen, using Zelle, using PayPal online, or sending checks, which some people still do that. The QR code there will take you right to the donation page of our website if you wish to do that. And we have an affirmation coming up here that you can join me at home to support that abundance. I am overflowing with love and abundance. I give from the source of my being, which is rich and unlimited. With joy and excitement, I share from this overflow. In return, the universe gives back to me in infinite ways, channels, and means. And so it is. So thank you for considering supporting us financially. All right. So as you know, we'll have a Zoom conversation as soon as we finish here. So in a few minutes, if we go a little bit long, give us a minute to get it Zoom started. I hope you'll join us. There's lots to talk about today. Our next in-person is September 28th, which is next Sunday. And Reverend Rachel will be talking to us about Mission Possible. And that's at the Masonic Lodge, of course. Prayer requests can be given to our practitioners online and in person at our in-person services, celebrations. So we hope you'll consider that. Please note here the beautiful AI image that Reverend Rachel created for us. These are our three practitioners, Stephanie, Bill, and Sue. It's so glorious to see their faces here. I love it. So you can email them from our website on the About page. So CSLSG.org at the About page. And that information is always in the newsletter as well. Okay. I love those faces. Yay. Good job, Rachel. So we also would love for you to invest in your spiritual home, which we hope is us, with your time and talents, because your gifts really can make a difference. It takes a lot of us to put together not only the online celebrations, but also the in-person celebrations, sound teching, video streaming, being a greeter at the door, helping in the kitchen. None of it's hard. But your hearts, your hands, your heart, and we are your home. So we hope that you'll consider investing some time in us and in us collectively. So as we have a used bookstore in the back of our in-person celebrations now. Those of you who were with us before COVID know that we had a little library room. And we have brought some of those books to share with you. And come browse, pick a book, leave an offering and also you can leave a book to share with others as well. It's always located in the back of the room at the in-person celebrations at the Masonic Lodge. So we hope you'll take advantage of that. I think people are enjoying it. And hopefully you know by now that we're having an installation ceremony on Friday, October 17th from 6 to 9:30. We do have some volunteer opportunities. There's lots to coordinate and make happen that day. The committee is making all the arrangements, but we'll need help with raffles and greeting people at the door and all kinds of things. So if you would like to not only attend, but to help out, please let us know of this special time in our history as it's unfolding. Again, information is always in the newsletter as well. And you can email questions to us at stgeorgecsl@gmail.com. And that installation we are calling it the Heart Evolution, a community of love and action. It's celebrating Reverend Joe and Reverend Rachel, and is a kind of a commitment ceremony between our ecclesiastical leaders and the rest of us. And we hope that all of you will come. That Eventbrite address right there will take you to the invitation where you can RSVP. There are several options. There are complimentary tickets available if you don't have the money to contribute, or you can pay for your own dinner, or you can do a larger donation if you would wish that. So lots of options, but we do need you to RSVP. The seating is limited and we have to plan for the food. So please do RSVP so that we know that you're coming. So we hope you'll celebrate with us. All right. The two upcoming services next week, of course, as I mentioned, is Reverend Rachel with Mission Possible, and then and that one's in person, and then online the following week, October 5th. Can you believe it's October already? The Ultimate Glow Up with Reverend Joe. And in addition to that, as Reverend Joe mentioned, we have three, count them, 3, 1, 2, 3 in-person services next month, this upcoming month, October 12th, as usual, with Reverend Joe. On the 19th, which is 2 days after our installation, Reverend Joe and Reverend Rachel are going to speak together with us. And then we'll have our usual fourth Sunday celebration, and this time will be our practitioner, Bill Smith. He has spoken for us before, and it's always really good and energetic. So come 3 times in October, the 12th, the 19th, and the 26th. We look forward to doing that. All right. So we hope that you will join us in our closing affirmation. Bill is bringing us all up, bringing our faces in. Or at least, okay, there we go. There's all 5 of us. Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
It is this thing called life.
Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is in all that I do.
I am it. I embrace it. And I share it. Just the way that it is.
And just the way that it is becoming.
Thank you, live.
Thank you,
Right.
Mwah.
Thanks
Let's
for
do the
being here,
Dave
everybody.
show. Mwah.
See you on Zoom.
Oh man, you got it all over me.